Indiana and Notre Dame square off in what could be one of the more competitive, entertaining first-round matchups. I really think this is a game that could go either way. We're going to go through and give you 5 reasons why each team could win, 5 reasons why Indiana pulls off the upset, and then 5 reasons why Notre Dame will take care of business. 5 reasons why Indiana will pull off the upset over Notre Dame. We start with our first reason, and that is red zone offense. So Indiana's red zone offense is actually really, really good. They rank number 3 in all of college football. They score points 94% of the time in the red zone. So that is a really, really good stat there. When you look at when they get in the red zone, they almost always get points. Now, Notre Dame does have a good red zone defense, so keep that in mind here. Notre Dame actually ranks number 9 in the country. They only give up points 73% of the time. So this is strength on strength, but if Indiana is able to capitalize on their red zone opportunities, then that's going to be really, really big in this game. And then you just look at the flip side. You look at Notre Dame's red zone offense. It's not very good. They are actually 74th in the country, but Indiana's red zone defense is really not that good. They rank 65th. So when you look at that side, again, it's kind of a weakness for both teams. But then when you look at Indiana's red zone offense against Notre Dame's red zone defense, it's really strength on strength. So whoever can win that battle, when Indiana gets in the red zone, if they can score points and if they can score touchdowns, that's going to go a long way in them pulling off this upset. Next reason is third downs. This is an area where I think Indiana has a big advantage. If you look at their stats this season, they rank number 12 in the country in third down percentage, talking about on offense. Well, Notre Dame's really good on defense. They're actually number 7. So that's not the area I'm talking about. Where I think Indiana has a big advantage is actually with their defense. Indiana's defense ranks number 8 in all of college football in third down conversion defense, and it's an area where Notre Dame struggles. Notre Dame ranks number 87 in third down conversions on offense. So that is going to be a big, big key in this game. If Indiana can hold Notre Dame to some third and longs, make them have to throw the football, which Notre Dame, they like to run the ball, and Indiana very good against the run. So that's going to be a big, big key, is getting this team into third and long. If they can do that, you really like Indiana's defense. They've got a good pass rush. Their secondary is pretty good as well. So that's, I think, an area to watch for sure in this game. How well does Notre Dame do on those third down plays? Indiana's pass defense is actually really good as well. They rank number 9 in the country, only giving up 174 yards a game with their pass defense. So if Notre Dame gets into third and longs, I think they're in big, big trouble. So the key for the Irish is going to be staying ahead of the chains, picking up yards on the ground, first and second down, maybe throwing some on first down. Again, that's going to be a big key. But I do believe that the advantage here does go to Indiana. And if they can keep Notre Dame from converting on third downs, obviously that's going to give them a great shot to win this game. Next reason is the psychological edge. And I think when you look at where Indiana was to start this season, where they were projected to be to start this season, and where they finished, it's already been a great season. And I really feel like there's no pressure on this Indiana team. They can go out there, they can play loose. If they lose, they lose. I mean, it was still a great season. So I think that's the advantage here. I think the pressure is more on Notre Dame. Notre Dame was expected to be here. They had a great season. The only loss, of course, coming to Northern Illinois. They only go 11-1. They get into the playoff. But this is a team that a lot of people had in the playoff in the preseason. So they were, again, expected to be here. The pressure all on the Irish, in my opinion. I think Indiana's, and I think they're the type of team that can go in there and just play loose. And I think that's going to be a big advantage for them. And you wonder, does the pressure get to Notre Dame? Notre Dame playing at home, if Indiana can get off to a good start, does that crowd kind of get quiet and then they really start feeling the pressure? So I think that's going to be a big key in this game, is who gets off to a good start, because we know that when you're the favorites and you get behind or the game stays close, you start to feel that pressure more and more. Well, Indiana, again, they don't really have any pressure in this game, so I think that's a big advantage for them. The next reason why Indiana can pull off this upset, well, it's Kirk Cignetti. Just Google him. A quick Google search will tell you that he's 130-36 overall as a head coach. And at James Madison, before he came here to Indiana, he was 52-9. All this guy does is win. He's a very good coach. The way he can scheme things up, it's very impressive. And with the extra time to prepare, I really just think that when you look at the coaching matchup, I do think Kirk Cignetti has a big advantage here. He's got a lot more experience, again, as a head coach. You're giving him extra time to prepare. To me, that really feels like this one, again, the coaching edge does go in favor of Indiana. And we've already seen it with the turnaround with Indiana this year. I mean, they weren't expected to do much of anything, and he comes in there. It's not like the talent level just went through the roof. Yeah, they got better. Yeah, they improved the roster, but it's about his coaching. The coaching job he's done this year has been phenomenal, and it's a big reason. I think the main reason why Indiana is having the type of season that they're having. So again, when you look at these two coaches, I do believe that Kirk Cignetti has a clear advantage over Marcus Freeman. The final reason why Indiana could pull off this upset and win this game over Notre Dame, it's their run defense. This Indiana team, is number one in all of college football, only giving up 71 rushing yards per game. That is actually really, really impressive. They held Michigan to, I believe it was like 70-something yards. Ohio State barely got over 100 yards in that game. So they've done it against good teams. Now, this Notre Dame offensive line, I think, is going to be a real challenge for them, but they've proven that they are very good at stopping the run, and that's what Notre Dame wants to do. So it's really strength on strength here. You look at that Indiana run defense going up against a very good Notre Dame rushing offense. They rank number 10 in the country at 225 yards per game. So it's strength on strength there, but if it's just a draw, if we don't see Notre Dame have a ton of success running the football, and it comes down to Indiana's pass defense against Notre Dame's passing offense, I think the advantage there goes to Indiana. So as long as they can just have a stalemate there in the run game, maybe hold Notre Dame to like 3 yards per carry or somewhere in that range, I really think Indiana has a great shot to pull off this upset. Now, obviously, our simulation that you're seeing on your screen is not giving Indiana much of a shot. These simulations sometimes are correct, sometimes they're not. So I wouldn't read too much into that. But yeah, the simulation is expecting a blowout, an easy win for Notre Dame. But I think Indiana has a real shot in this game. I really do. If you look at how these teams stack up statistically, again, Indiana definitely has a lot of advantages. Now, how they match up front at the line of scrimmage, that's going to be the big key in this game. But I think Indiana's run defense is going to give them a real shot to pull off this upset, and the Hoosiers could advance in the college football playoff. 5 reasons why Notre Dame will defeat Indiana and advance to face Georgia in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. First reason is home field advantage. I don't think this is going to play a huge factor in this game, but obviously you want to play these games at home. I wonder how many Indiana fans will actually be at this game. You see a lot of times the visitors travel pretty well to Notre Dame. A lot of fans want to go to Notre Dame. Obviously, this is not too far to travel. So, yeah, that is very interesting to see how that plays out. But obviously, it's going to be an advantage. Again, I don't think it's going to be a huge advantage for Notre Dame, but I do think it is an advantage for sure. And like I said, you want to play at home. There is a reason why they give the home field advantage to the higher seeds. It is an advantage, and I think this will be an advantage for Notre Dame and could potentially be a difference maker, could help them to win this game. Next reason why Notre Dame could beat Indiana, it's turnovers. So turnovers could play a major factor in this game. Turnovers always seem to be big in determining the winner of a college football game. I mean, it matters a lot. And you look at where Notre Dame ranks nationally and in all of college football. They are number 1 in the country in forced turnovers. They have forced 28 turnovers this season. That's over 2 turnovers a game. It's really good. And you just look at their turnover margin. They're number 2 in the country there. That plus 1.33. Now, Indiana is not far behind them at all. Their turnover margin is actually 1.25. And they've only lost 8 turnovers all season long. So it's not like Notre Dame has this huge advantage, but it is something they're good at. And if they can force some turnovers against Indiana, a team that, again, has taken care of the football, but you kind of go back to home field advantage. Can they handle the pressure going on the road? or handle the environment, I should say, going on the road. Maybe Notre Dame can force them into a couple of turnovers. And again, if Notre Dame wins the turnover battle in this game, especially if they win it by like 2 or more, I would almost guarantee that Notre Dame will win this game. Next reason is the pass defense for Notre Dame. They are very, very good in terms of pass defense. You look at where they rank nationally, they're number 3 in the country. They only give up 158 yards per game through the air. Indiana's pretty good throwing it. They average 265 yards a game. They're ranked 29th in passing offense. But I do think that this is still an advantage for Notre Dame. I think their pass defense will outplay the pass offense for Indiana, and that could be a big big reason why they win this game. Not just with the secondary, which is really good, but also you look at the pass rush for Notre Dame. They've got a decent pass rush as well. They get 2.5 sacks per game. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But this is an advantage for Notre Dame. It's an Indiana team that likes to be balanced, but they definitely lean more on that passing game. Curtis Rourke maybe didn't play as well in some of the big games this year. Maybe they didn't have a lot of big games, but against Michigan and Ohio State didn't play as well. So I think Notre Dame's pass defense is definitely going to have an advantage, and if they can slow down the passing attack for Indiana, obviously that's going to go a long ways towards helping them get a win in this one. Next reason why Notre Dame could win this game is their offensive line. This is a very good offensive line. I would say probably the best offensive line that Indiana has faced all season. You look at Notre Dame up front, they only give up 1.25 sacks per game. That's very, very solid. And then you look at their run game, of course, they average 225 yards per game. That's number 10 in all of college football. They want to run the football. Now, Indiana is really good against the run, so it's going to be strength on strength. In fact, Indiana has the number 1 rushing defense in all of college football. You look at games against Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State did run for over 100 yards, but they didn't go off. They didn't go crazy in that game running football. Michigan was held under 100 yards. I think they only had 70 yards or something. So, yeah, Indiana has proven that they can stop the run, but I don't think they face an offensive line this good. So I think that is going to be a big factor in this game. Can Notre Dame protect up front? Can they keep Riley Leonard upright? I mean, that's going to be a big story here. Indiana's, not only their run defense is good, but their pass rush is pretty good as well. They're number 20 in the country with 2.83 sacks per game on defense. So they are good at getting after the quarterback. They're very good against the run. It's a good defensive line for Indiana. Notre Dame will have to win that battle. If they cannot win up front, I think they're in big trouble. But I think they have the offensive line that's going to give them a chance to do just that. And like I said, I think this is the best offensive line that Indiana would have faced all year long. It's going to be a great test. It's strength on strength. And at the end of the day, if Notre Dame wins this game, a big reason why is because of their offensive line and if they can hold up front. Final reason why Notre Dame could win this game, it's not the offensive line, but the defensive line. I think that is going to be the story of the game. If Notre Dame wins, it's going to be because of their defensive line. They get 2.5 sacks per game. That's pretty solid getting to the quarterback. But you look at what Indiana has done when they have faced good defensive lines. In the 2 games against Ohio State and Michigan, just looking at those 2 games, Ohio State had 5 sacks versus Indiana. Michigan had 4 sacks versus Indiana. Indiana on the year only gives up 1.5 sacks per game. So they're very good normally at protecting the quarterback, but against those good defensive fronts, they really struggled. Notre Dame has a good defensive front. They just do. You look at, and not only the pass rush, but the defensive line overall for Notre Dame. It's going to be a real challenge for Indiana. And like I said, if Indiana wins this game, they're going to have to offset that. They're going to have to hit some screens. They're going to have to keep the defense for Notre Dame guessing, a defensive line. Have to keep them, trying to figure out, is it going to be a pass, is it going to be a run, is it going to be a screen, whatever it's going to be. They're going to have to keep them guessing up front. And that's going to be, I think, the key to this game. If they don't do that and Notre Dame's defensive line wins that battle, I think it's going to be tough for Indiana to win this game. So, again, if Notre Dame wins, I think the number one reason, you will look back and you say the number one reason why they won this game, it's because of their defensive line. If they can get it done there, I think the Irish will win this game.